people saying that I'm a blood and people saying that this and that. I'm gonna give you a little insight on that. You know what I'm saying? So the only gang I've ever been in my life is a gang called Ghost Shadow, right? It's a Chinese gang. The gang don't even exist anymore. You know what I'm saying? It was a Chinese gang that's been around since I was a kid. It was like the Chinese. It was like the Chinatown's version of the mafia. You know what I'm saying? Ghost Shadows, Flying Dragons, Asian gang shit. And that was the only gang I've ever been in my life. You know what I mean? I joined that gang when I was like maybe like 12 years old, I think. 12 years old, I joined the gang. And and once I went to jail the last time for the 10 years, the gang just like, it just disappeared. And even when every time I went to jail, it wasn't like I was getting locked up with a bunch of like ghost shadows. I was always going to jail by myself. Like, cause all the Chinese gangs, they would go to the feds. They wouldn't go to the state. You know what I'm saying? But me, I was going to the state. You know what I mean? Cause all of my shit was violent. I wasn't like doing like white collar shit. I wasn't doing like scamming shit. I was just like stabbing shit, shooting shit, cutting shit. I was just like on that type of time. So every time I did a bid, it was the state. And every time I go in the state, I'll be the only one there.
Yes, you China Mac at that time going to state prison for stupid crimes like what? Stabbing, shooting, because you were probably very stupid at that time and you may be even stupider now. That's because the rest of your Ghost Shadow gang members, people you were around, went to federal prison for, like you said, high-level scamming, high-level things that may require a little bit more time from the federal authorities to put them in federal prison instead of state's prison. So clearly you see here, China Mac wasn't smart enough to even get to that federal prison because who do we see in federal prison? Nowadays on the news, you see the supposed white-collar criminals like the Martin Shkreli. I believe there was a YouTuber, former scammer named Bandman Kevo. He was doing what? A lot of credit card scamming. That's how he got into federal prison. You see, if China Mac was smart enough to be a high-level scammer, to do something that was a lot of moving parts into it, he might have ended up in federal prison instead of just the regular state prison. And here's one thing I'd like to note that you may have missed. China Mac stated he joined the Ghost Shadows at 12. What kind of 12-year-old joins a gang at 12? You see, that's the problem. A lot of gang members, they like to go after people who are younger because younger people are impressionable. So when you have someone that's a little bit younger, like a 12-year-old China Mac, and somebody who's clearly not very smart, right? I mean, if they're going to be a criminal, they rather what? Do something that's going to be intelligent. You're trying to get a lot of money instead of being a criminal just to what? Stab people? Just to what? Hurt people? Come on. That's low-level thinking. And it goes to show you, see, China Mac, he's part of a gang that was in Chinatown. So he's one of those Chinatown type of Asians. They're not the same like other Asians. You see, there was once a stereotype that they said if you were Asian that you were supposed to be smart. Not necessarily, because if that was the case, we wouldn't have someone like a China Mac. He's one of those Chinatown Asians. Those Chinatown Asians, you can't say they're the smartest of the Asians. They're the Asians that you don't really see, but they're out there, right? You go to any Chinatown out there, if they're not doing any type of super crime, if they don't own like 20 restaurants, if they're like a China Mac just day in, day out, the regular job that comes in once in a while, they get odd jobs. They're not the same. So these Chinatown Asians, we got to make sure they're different from the other Asians out there. It just shows you not all Asians are the same.